mean, Suzanne and I were separated as children. She being quite a bit older than me, she went back to Jordan at 12 years old, and I was 8 months old, I guess, when my father died. She was brought up a Muslim and lived the Muslim life, and I was brought up a Christian. I was sent to a Methodist boarding school. So right from the start, our lives took a completely different direction. Her life certainly appeared to me when I saw her, some 20 years later, was of complete control, and mine seemed to have absolute freedom. And it wasn't until I saw her put her veil on for the first time that I realised what that control had cost her.
رايحين على الحمدية نشتري أغراض نشم الهواء إن شاء الله بننبسط. Good. I'm going to Kaya. Bang, bang.
Although we had very different lives, I did feel that we had a shared experience in the fact that she had to wear a veil, which stopped the world seeing her and her seeing the world. And I had a disability, and I used a wheelchair, or I use a wheelchair, which acts, I think, as a veil, because it also stops me doing what I want to do. Having a wheelchair stopped people seeing me, seeing the individual in the wheelchair, and I do think that, Suzanne has experienced the same thing, her veil. She becomes invisible, and certainly I'm invisible in Western culture. The first time I saw her put on the veil, I was horrified, actually, because, first of all, I couldn't work out what she was doing. I was very upset, actually. Well, first of all, because I couldn't see her, but secondly, because it just showed how under the thumb she was, how, it was blotting out her identity. There was no Suzanne, there was nothing. All there was this black shadow of a woman who looked exactly the same as, all the other women in the street, in the village where she lived, so there was, they were just all like one clone. It just seemed to me to be the ultimate in control. Everywhere I looked, all the women were the same. And in fact, I couldn't even tell Suzanne from one neighbour to another. There used to be this girl that lived downstairs from my mother's house that I was gobsmacked to see had veiled up. And I don't know why I was gobsmacked, really, because, all the women were veiling up. But the reason why I was gobsmacked was because she was in a wheelchair. And I asked her why she veiled up, and she was quite indignant with her answer, in that she said, well, you have to veil up because we're told to. It says in the Quran that a woman must cover up, and must cover up her fitna, which in English means you have to cover up your seductiveness, the woman's power to seduce a man. In England, disabled women aren't considered to be sexually dangerous. So disabled women that I have seen who come from countries where veiling is the norm don't veil up. Yet here in Jordan, all women have the label of being sexually dangerous. When I came back to England, I decided to explore the issue a bit more, particularly among disabled women over here who were from veil-wearing backgrounds, because I thought that they would certainly be able to engage with the issue of veiling, and would probably be able to draw parallels with Western ideas of images of being perfect. I do think that the conditioning that I've had living here is that sexual danger kind of comes from tall, leggy blondes or voluptuous, dark-headed women who have got, 34, 18, 48 statistics, and they Western ideas of physical beauty is what kind of dictates who's sexy and who isn't, who's dangerous and who's not. So I liked the concept that in Arab culture they didn't discriminate. All women were sexual danger, no matter what you look like.
It's about not seeing a sexual person, not seeing somebody who has a sexual nature, and it's the same for disabled women. I think it's a very similar thing, that they're not thought to have feelings, sexual feelings, or experience those sort of all that kind of stuff. Coming from a Muslim background, I was brought up to practice the religion and the different rituals and things, and the traditions as well. Part of it as well, of course, was to cover yourself up, which was something that we were encouraged to do, told to do in different occasions as well. And being about, I remember being about 12 or 13, a sort of puberty time or something, when you start doing your prayers and you start to have to cover yourself up and everything. It's quite a difficult thing. You're at a time when you're wanting to explore your own sexuality, your sexual feelings, just what puberty is about, I guess. And then you're kind of told to cover yourself up, and it's very restricting, very frustrating as well. And I found it very very, very difficult. I don't want somebody telling me what I should do, how I should be. And it really does feel there's somebody or something is telling me, it's been imposed upon me, and I don't feel I have a choice in it.
When I perceive the veil, I think of Islamic cultures and my father's culture in Nigeria, which is in part a Muslim one. When I think about women who I've seen when I used to be able to see wearing the veil in this country, I have a feeling of there's a sort of piousness there, and a sense of being sort of untouchable, I think, and something slightly threatening, and I think that comes from the colour, because the colour's, often black, and I've often thought, why do women who come from obviously countries that are quite hot, where they wear the veil, have to wear a veil that's such dark colours, something that kind of attracts the heat rather than repels it.
Ultimately, I think the veil is about control, power and control. I think men and patriarchal societies work very hard to control what they don't understand, and it's been very well written, long written about that men and women speak completely different languages, and men don't understand women and women don't understand men. So what better way for a man to control what he doesn't understand but by making them invisible. And a woman who can't see where she's going very well, can't drive a car, who can't walk about easily, so therefore is kind of made to stay still in some ways, is much easier to control. I think also a woman who can't be seen by other people is much easier to control because there's less to worry about by her running off with somebody who likes the look of her.
And there's very strong links with the veil. It's about, you know, women being invisible and being made to be invisible by society. There's things about it which says that, you know, what is being seen is not good. Well, the veil is the thing that's actually covering up this kind of hiding or covering up this dangerous side of a woman. So when both disabled and non-disabled women are covering themselves up, then, you know, a disabled woman can see herself then as someone who is dangerous or who does have that sexually dangerous nature, if you like, as a non-disabled woman. So there is the sort of, you know, in a way, I mean, it can be seen as a sort of empowerment, but I see it more as an equal kind of an equal stand, if you like.